Good afternoon, class. Ready for GIS? So today was a pretty momentous day for me. During my live stream lesson this morning, I got my first real troll who came on and started making obscene comments. So that was exciting. Um, that's sort of a threshold, right? A sign of success of sorts. Okay, so today this week we are focused on Chapter 6 in the textbook, Getting to Know ArcGIS Pro. And Chapter 6, the theme of Chapter 6 is collaborative mapping. And what this means is that you want to make a map resource, post it up to ArcGIS Online, and you want this thing to be editable so that other people can not only view it, but they can actually contribute to it as well. They can add features, edit features, and all that. So the example that we're going to work through today involves trees. It's a map that involves inventory of trees. So you can imagine a community group building a map like this, which has point features, which are the locations of trees in the community, and then each of those features has a collection of attributes such as the species of tree, the age of the tree, the height of the tree, diameter of the tree, and what its status is, whether it's healthy, diseased. You know, you can think of lots of different permutations of this. So while we're working through this, all right, I want you to think of some sort of collaborative mapping exercise that we can do as a class, where each of us will create a map together and a feature layer on that map, and then we can go out and map features on Shepherd campus. I was thinking about this morning, brainstorming, and some things that came to mind were like, well, this is really dumb, but the locations of trash cans on campus. That's really bad. We could do trees. We could do, so we want something where there's a lot of examples on campus, something that everyone can add to. Could be, some sort of social commentary type project, like the locations of, maybe we are just aware of like litter on campus, and every time you pick up a piece of litter, you mark its location, and we could kind of get in a picture of where people are littering, which might be interesting. I don't know. So think about this. Think about something. Maybe there's something we can come up with that would be fun to map collaboratively on Shepherd campus. All right. Anyway, think on it. All right. So let's go to ArcGIS Pro and get started here on this lesson. Got any questions? Put them in the comments. Unless you're a troll, then don't. All right. So we're going to start with a project that's already started for us, and let me see if I can find it here. The tree inventory. All right, here it is. Tree inventory. It's an ArcGIS project file. Project package. All right, opens up. Let's see. Got this is what we got in the catalog here. We got a database, and look, there's one feature class in this database. Let's add it to our map and see what we got here. It's completely empty. There's nothing in it. And why is it completely empty? Because this feature class is going to be populated by us in the field. We're going to, well, not necessarily in the field, but we're going to add features to this feature class. So the main goal of activity or lesson 6A is to get this feature class ready for that data entry to creation of features. And so what we're going to do is, we've done this once before. We're going to define domains for a attribute and a new attribute called status, and we are going to add this attribute to the attribute table. So when you define a domain, what you're doing is you're limiting the scope of possible values that value can hold in the attribute table. Where did we do this? Oh, we did this before with the pipe diameter, if you remember that. We were editing a map that showed the locations of water infrastructure in the city, and we created a map domain to limit the values that you could have for pipe diameter. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, I think, were the values we specified. All right. Then when we're done with this, we'll work on the symbology and come up with a default symbology for our features, and then we will load it up to ArcGIS Online and take a look and see what we have. All right. All right. So let's close this out. And actually, I'm going to delete this off the map for right now. Delete that trees feature layer. And the first thing we will do is if we right-click on our database, one of the options, yeah, there it is. So if you right-click on your geodatabase, one of the options is domains. And we open that up. There's already 3 different domains defined. One's called hazard, one's called land use, and one is called status. So we're not going to create the status one. We are going to create one called, well, I'm going to delete it so we can create this again. Sorry, I created it already. All right. It won't let me delete it. All right. So my problem is I was working on this earlier, and I saved it to a geodatabase. I accidentally overwrote the geodatabase that I already created, or sorry, the one that I opened right now. So we'll just go through this as if I hadn't done that. So this wasn't here before, status. So to create a new domain, you just click in this empty box, you give it a name, you give it a description, you say what kind of data this field is going to contain, text, and then when you do that, you can enter over here on this other pane the coded values that domain can have. And so for status, the possible values that a tree status can have are planted, which means that it was planted on purpose, and ingrowth, which means it just came up sort of like a volunteer plant. It just grew wild. Unknown, you don't know if someone planted it or if it just grew there. And dead, it's no longer alive. So you could add other values here like diseased. Let me do that. And so once you're done adding a domain and you add the coded values it can have, you click save. Oh, I gotta delete this. Nope. Delete. There we go. All right, save it. All right. So I've created that domain. Now if I go to right-click on trees and go to design. So there's other ways to get here. I could add trees to my map and then go to the attribute table. to see the fields that exist, or I could just go to design and select fields, and that pops up the field view for this feature class. So each of the features in this feature class has all of these different features, and status I added before. Let's delete it. See if I can delete it. There we go. And I'll add it again. So once I created the status domain, I can add an attribute to my attribute table for status, and it is of type text. And then once you do that, if you click on this domain column here, a drop-down menu will appear which shows all the coded domains that you have created. And so we created this domain status to represent the status of trees. So this attribute is going to be coded according to that domain. So I'll click Save. All right. So, well, at this point, let's go ahead and add trees to our map. Okay, and this is that feature class. It's completely empty. And let's go to the symbology, and let's set the symbology as unique values. We want to specify unique values for every possible value in one of the fields. And let's select status as the field that we are specifying unique values for. And so the unique values that we have, because this is a coded field, the domain has dead, diseased, ingrowth, planted, or unknown. Those are the possible values, and then all other values would be assigned some other symbology. So right now, all the symbols for all the features in this feature class will just be these little dots, and they're different colors. We don't want to see all other values, so let's turn that off. We can click More here and then select Show All Other Values, and that goes away. So we're just seeing the symbology for the 5 different possible values that this attribute can have in our feature class. And if you don't like dots, you can go up here and you can do format. You can't see that too well, can you? There's an option that says Format All Symbols. So if I select that, I can format symbols from my from the gallery. Do any of these symbols. In the textbook, here click All Styles, and then we have access to even more possible styles. And in the textbook, they want us to use a Pishpun style, which is called Park. It's got a picture of a tree on it. Nope, that's not it. Nope, not that. Here we go. So down here we got these push pins, and one of them, here it is, Park, has a picture of a tree. So I'll pick that. All right, so at this point, all of the possible values that this attribute can have they all have the same symbol. It's all this push pin with a little tree on. It's green. So at this point, then you can click on, click on each of these, and go to Properties, and you can change the color. So this is disease. What's a good color for diseased? Blue, like it's sick. How about, I guess it doesn't really matter. Diseased browns. Browns are diseased. What's this color? Cordovian brown. Yeah, that looks diseased to me. Dead. What's dead? Like gray, black, dark gray. Ingrowth, something that's not planted, maybe a darker green. So you can tell between planted and ingrowth. Unknown, maybe, let's do this orange one. Okay, so we set up a symbology for these different of these different features. All or sorry, these features with different different values for the status attribute. All right, so I'm going to save this project. This is what I did earlier, and that's why my domain was already coded in my geodatabase. And so now I want to push this up to, I've created this layer, and it's got it's got the framework for an attribute table. There's no actual features created in here yet. I could create some features on my map here in ArcGIS Pro, but I won't do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this layer up to ArcGIS Online. I'm going to create a web layer out of this this trees status layer, and then I'm going to create a web map out of that layer, and set things up so that I can share it with other people. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go to share, and I'm going to do web layer. Okay, not web map. Not web map. That's what you guys did for your practicum. Web layer. So I'll click that, and I will publish a web layer, and I will call it tree inventory. Tree inventory, sure. And the summary, a web layer for taking an inventory of trees. Tags, trees, inventory. It's good enough. What kind of layer is this? It's a feature layer. And it's going to have point features. It's a feature layer. Where should I save it? I will save it to my root directory. Now here, I don't necessarily want to share this with everybody. If you're doing collaborative mapping, there's going to be certain people that you want to have access to this map. So you can lock stuff down in the sense that you can prevent people from deleting your map and deleting your data. But you also want to grant certain people permission to modify features and also add features to your web layer. And so you got to be careful. You know, you may not want to share data with everyone. A few years ago there was a student. Man, my brain is just jelly. All right, there was a student, and he was doing his capstone project on chronic wasting disease in deer, and he was able to get a data set from the I think it was called Division of Fish and Wildlife in Wyoming, whatever Wyoming's Fish and Wildlife Service is, of chronic wasting disease amongst elk and mule deer populations out there. And so it was publicly posted. It was just posted up on the internet, and the map itself it was on ArcGIS Online. The map itself was just showing, let's call it a coarse summary of the data. You know, it was like different counties and like what percentage of deer in this county that were harvested and then tested positive for chronic wasting disease. But you could actually drill down into the layer that was producing this map, and you could view the attribute table for this layer, and inside there were actual raw numbers, like how many deer, how many tested positive. And we contacted them and said, can we use this data? And they were like, what? No, you can't use that data. It's top secret. And they didn't know that they had, shared it accidentally. So, you gotta be careful about what you're sharing. And in this case, especially, well, you want to be careful about who you're giving editing privileges to. All right. So back to here, we're going to upload this tree inventory web layer. We'll just share it with people in Shepherd University Geomatics for now. Click Analyze, see what errors we get. We only got one. You might get the light. Oh, sorry. There, now you can see this. I only got one error. Layers data source is not supported. Topographic. That's not a big deal. We're not sharing the topographic layer. We're sharing the trees layer. I honestly don't fully understand this error that we seem to get all the time. You know, we're not even trying to share the topographic layer. We're trying to share the trees layer, so I don't know why that even pops up. But we can ignore it. In fact, you can always ignore warnings. The problem is if the warning has to do with the thing that you're trying to share, like if it said the data format of the trees layer is not supported, that would be a big problem, because when you click share button, it'll just skip those layers, and that misses the point because that's what you're trying to share. The other error, or not error, but warning that we get a lot is one that says something like this layer does not have a feature template. And that's not a big deal either, but you can create feature templates by clicking this little button in the edit tab under features. This little arrow button pops out. Select the layer you want to create templates for, and then create all templates. And all right, and so that warning's fine. We're going to publish it. Click publish. And see, it already exists because I already created this layer. So when I was fooling around earlier, so we'll call this tree inventory for real. Tree inventory for real. All right, it's queuing up. It is working. Still working. Come on. You can do it. Successfully published web layer. All right. So my layer is up there on ArcGIS Online. So let's go to ArcGIS Online now. Minimize that. Open up Chrome. And yeah, that'll look better that way. Oops. Sign in. All right, so if I go to my content menu, oh yeah, I got all kinds of stuff here from before. No, tree inventory must be up there somewhere in our group. This is stuff from before. I'm gonna won't let me delete that. So you see that if I pick this tree inventory sandbox, this is another version of this project I made earlier, it won't let me delete it. And the reason is because if we go in here to settings, there's a box, prevent this item from accidentally being deleted. There we go. So I do want to delete it. Delete, delete, delete. Okay, so I'll delete all that old stuff. I should really clean this out. There's so much junk in here. So this is the web layer I just put up here. And let's take a look at the settings. So, one of the things I want to do is I want to enable editing. I want people to be able to edit this. Um, Maybe, I want to keep track of who created and last updated the features. I think we'll turn this on later, enable sync. So we're going to use we were not going to do it today, but next time we will take a look at an app that runs on your smartphone. It runs on Android, it runs on iOS, and it's called Collector, Esri Collector. I think it's just called Collector. And what you can do is when you use your credentials to log into this app, it'll show you web maps which are shared out and available to the Collector app for data collection. So this is really cool. You can then take your cell phone out into the field, and let's say, in this case, trees. There's a tree and you want to add it to your map, and you're standing right next to it. So of course your cell phone has GPS inside of it, so it knows where it is. It knows what its geographic coordinates are. And so in this app, you just hit add, and you add a feature, and then that feature is added to your map, and it knows where to put it because it uses your cell phone's GPS unit to figure out what the geographic coordinates are. And you can even do that if there's no internet access. And then once you get back someplace where there's internet access, you can sync. It syncs up. It syncs up with the layer that's on ArcGIS Online. So we'll do that. Keep track of who edited. Editors can see all features. Sure. What kind of editing is allowed? Add, delete, update. So you could add people to add but not delete. That way you can't get rid of data. You can just add it. What kind of, so if you just click attributes, then they can only change the attributes of existing features. They can't add new features. So we'll just save that for right now. All right, and so let's go back. There's a couple of ways we can proceed. This is just the web layer, and it doesn't exist on a map yet. So one thing I could do is I could create a map, a new map, and then add this layer to it. Or I think you can, if I select here, yeah, so if you select this little options tab next to this web layer, this feature layer that's sitting here, one of the options is add this to a new map with full editing control. So we can create the map and also make the map editable all in one step. So let's do that. And there it is. And so you can see, here's the legend that we set up, the different colors, the pushpin symbology. There's two layers here, the topographic base map layer, which we could change. And so let's save this. Let's save it as tree inventory. Collaborative mapping. Tags, trees, inventory, good enough. Summary of the map, a map for collecting data about trees. And I'll save it in my folder. Alright, so create this map. And so let's go to my content now. We'll take a look at its settings. So if I click on the map, let's look at its settings. Allow others to save a copy of this item. How about if I turn that off? that way there won't be duplicate versions of this map. There'll only be one. Find location. So the search tool, we could do this. Oh, look, it's already set up to use an ArcGIS collector. So if that wasn't set, we want to set it for next time. In here, let's add the ability to search the features based on who the collector was. So who entered the data. Let me do that. And we'll click this, prevent this item from being accidentally deleted. We'll save that so you guys can't delete it by accident. And okay, so now I think we're all set up. So open this map, and let's see if it works. So we'll go down here, and let's change the base map, because then we'll actually see trees. We'll change it to the satellite imagery, and let's zoom in here to not Crest Creek. Let's see, Shepherdstown. Where's an iconic tree in Shepherdstown? Anybody know? Well, I'm pretty sure. Okay, here's the green space in front of Bird Science Center, and gosh, I can't remember. My gosh, this is horrible. I feel like, anybody know what that tree is right there? What kind of tree it is? Right out in front of Snyder Hall. The red rubber in front of this one right here, that's a red rubber tree. Is that what that is, Aaron? Or is it a different one? See, this is why we should have collaborative mapping. So we can all add to it. Or is this the... Okay. Let's just pretend that we know something. You know what? How about if I go to my house? Actually, should I show you where I live? Whatever. Let's see. All right. So, wow, this is old footage. Okay, so this tree right here is a Japanese cherry. Aaron says not that one. I'm thinking of the one between the two front doors of Snyder. I have no idea. I'm not sure. Let's add a feature. This tree right here is a Japanese weeping cherry tree that the Japanese beetles just love to chew on. So we'll click add, and click edit, and we're going to add a feature. And so I planted this tree, so it's a planted feature, and I'm going to click right where it is. Boom. And the feature table, the attributes for this feature pop up. So now I can enter it. Tree ID, give it a number. How about 101? The date. This is of date type, so I can actually use the calendar to pick it. The collector is me. Land use, residential. The height of this tree, at this point, is probably about 20 to 30 feet. The diameter is probably like, I think it's less than a foot. I'll put 1 in there. I got a round. Is this a hazard? No. Notes. Japanese weeping cherry. You can say what it is. Was it planted? It was planted. And close. So there it is. Now if I go back to my details, and we'll zoom out, we'll still see that push pin right there. sitting on top of my Japanese cherry tree. Um, so if I click this, you know, the pop-up window, I could change the way this looks. If I go in here to more options, configure pop-up, let's change the name to tree inventory. Call it you know, it's collaborative, so you call it community tree inventory or our tree inventory. What do we want it to show? Configure attributes. I don't know. We don't really need object ID, tree ID, probably not. We'll make it editable, but do we really want to see it? We'll leave it on there. Creation date, creator, edit date. We don't really need to see that stuff either. Okay, and click OK. Okay, so that changes the way the pop-ups look. It's a little bit more clean looking. Okay. Let's see, what else? What else? What else? I'm scanning the chapter to see if there's anything else. Oh, this is kind of cool. So in the configure pop-up window, if you do configure attributes, let's say we want to move the status of the tree up higher. So just select that, and then you can reorder. Move it up. Just keep moving it up. And we'll get it above height. So it goes date, collector, land use, status, height, diameter. So it just changes the order of the pop-up. Oh, I gotta click OK before that happens. Here we go. Status comes now before height. Maybe we want to show that height is in feet, because right now there's no units. So you can do that by, you know, the field is in the curly brackets. The field alias is what actually shows up in the pop-up. So if I want to say this is height in feet, I can add to the alias. Diameter in feet, I can do that. Click OK. Okay. Let's see, anything else to add? So I think that I think it's all ready to share now. So we could try this out. If any of you guys have access to ArcGIS Online, see if you can go and add a tree to this map now. So what you would do is you go to ArcGIS Online, and in content let's see. I think that, let's go home. So if I search here for tree inventory, well, Dr. Murphy's got a bunch of stuff here from before. Let's just search and see what I get. Bierman, Murphy, Bierman. Well, let's see. Can I find mine? Why can't I filter by? I'm only searching inside geomatics. Sharing. Maybe if I search for tree inventory JGraph 7. Huh, won't find it. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Ah, so that's because I forgot a step. All right. So I'm going back to my content pane, and I select the tree map, collaborative mapping map, and then I gotta click the share button here. Sorry. Back here. So in my content pane, select the map I want to share, and then I gotta actually share it. So I'll click share, and I want to share it with everyone in the organization. And save. And you can create groups that are a subset. So I created a group called Jeff's Private, and it's just me. But I can create groups which are just a subset of people in the class and only give access to those people. All right, so now if we go to content, sorry, and go down to collab. Nope, still not there. I guess I have to create. I'm totally gonna find this now. All right, tree inventory. Let's see what we get. And let's feature by date. So if somebody made one newer than mine. Here it is, tree inventory collaborative mapping. So this is my map, web map by JGraph 7. So you guys should go to ArcGIS Online and see if you can find tree inventory collaborative mapping, my map, and then click on it, open it up, and then go to edit and add, go add a tree. Go find a tree somewhere and add it. All right, so go ahead, you guys do that. Oops. All right, and we'll see if it works. All right, maybe, I hope I didn't miss a step. I hope I got all the permissions right. But you try to do that. Try to add a tree, add a feature for a tree that you know, and then we'll take a look at the beginning of class next time and see what you guys added. All right, so don't forget to study for the exam this Friday. The slides that are posted and linked to on Sakai are the best way for you to, they're a study guide. That's a study guide. If you know the material in that slide, and you'll do great. It's 50-point test, 23 questions, 22 multiple choice, true, false, or fill in the blank, and 1 matching type question. So you'll do fine. All right, let me take a look and see if anybody got any questions. Erin says she found it, so I think she's talking about the map. So, all of you, try to find this map on ArcGIS Online. It's shared with all of you because you're all in our group. And you all should be able to add a tree feature, point feature, to this map using the edit button. Okay, so once you, let's see if you can do that. All right, so that's it for today. We'll finish a little early. Let me give you a minute, see if anybody has any questions. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. Well, seeing no comments, I guess we can call it a day. All right, I will see you guys on. Whoa. Can that tree we add be anywhere we want? Yes, it can be anywhere you want, wherever your favorite tree is. Yeah, it can be anywhere you want. And next time, once we learn how to use collector, then we can go out and add a tree in the field. And then it can't be anywhere you want. It's got to be somewhere you can be, because you're going to do it on your cell phone and use the geographic location of your location to create that feature. All right, I will talk to you guys on Wednesday and tomorrow. So this week's lab, I will be there tomorrow afternoon to open the lab. Hannah isn't able to do it this week, and so if you guys want to stop by and work on anything, you can. I'll be there from 1 to 3. All right. All right. Talk to you later.